there's always going to be risk in life, but when you get to do it with other people that you know and know have your back, the people that you'd want to have in the trenches with you, that's where we are in this world today. And whether it's your family, your community, your church, Freedom Founders, you got to be with people that you believe in, and they believe in you, and they believe in a cause and a purpose, in a mission that's bigger than any one of us. As Andy Baber said, we have to live life now, because now is all we've got. We don't know necessarily tomorrow, so how can we live life now, today, right? Freedom has to be fought for, has to be protected and maintained. It is not a given, and many people take it for granted, and I know that none of you do. We also had some very deep end-of-life discussions. This is something that, as I talk to many of you, and certainly I've gone through it, and Candace right now with her parents, is how do we deal with those issues? Parents, but we also have, our younger generations. Well, some of us are kind of that sandwich group, right? We've got parents here, we've got our kids here, we've got grandkids, and we're there trying to be the navigators of helping people through that. There's a lot that goes into that, and it's usually conversations that nobody likes to have. End of life? I mean, try talking to some of your parents and what do they say? It's like, well, stiff arm you, right? No, we don't need to talk about that. That's but having those, and how do you break that down? We got some really deep conversations about that. And then we had Eddie Speed with us, very appropriate because we're in a marketplace right now that really imparts the need for a lot of creativity. The old models, put them away. The new models, it's really going back in time, kind of back to the future is where we are today. And Eddie goes back as long as I do, back to 1980 when we both started in our different pathways in real estate. And it was fun to have him with us that weekend to talk about the iterations that he's seeing are so relevant to the marketplace today, and that we can bring to all of you as we navigate how we go forward with our assets. Blueprint Days. Blueprint Days continue to be a highlight for me and for Candace, because that's where we get to really spend time with our members, with the couples, almost one-on-one. It's a small group, and we get to know each other, and that camaraderie that we get to build up, those real discussions we get to have there in a small group really have much more depth than just the financial. People come for the financial, yes, and this group is very, very well attuned to deal with the financial, which is important. But the other aspects of life, and talking about what's real, and being vulnerable, and being open about where we are, where we stand, what we're looking at for the future, but where we feel some fear and uncertainty, which we all have. Again, it's like climbing that mountain. Having that tribe with you is one that's a key. And we find these conversations at Blueprint Days end up going very, very deep sometimes. And we love to see the transformations that come out of those, not necessarily quarters and years later, but sometimes just in a matter of a few weeks, we hear back from one spouse to the other that he or she their whole attitude's changed. Just in a short blink of an eye, the attitude's changed. Why? Because you're in a place where you can actually speak your mind and feel like you're understood. How many places in our life do we connect with other people and we feel like it's just really not a connection? They don't get us, right? And I'm not saying other people are not worthy or not good, but how many people do you find in your own walk of life that really get who you are, that you can really talk to about things of nature that go deep? It's hard to find. It's hard to find. Dr. Tommy Reed said it very well. It's not the monetary aspect, but the relationships that matter. And that's so true. That is so true. All right, here's a challenge I'm going to give all of you. This is a serious challenge this week. Start thinking about this today. In fact, you might even want to snap a picture of this. Don't try to write it down. It's too many words. Just snap a picture of it. Here's your challenge. I want you this weekend to think about evaluating your decisions through a 10-year framework. Let's go 10 years. If the markets crash, what will your future self be glad you did today, now, currently? What decisions will you be glad you're making today that will affect you 10 years from now? What about the next generation? How will your decisions today affect them, the other people you care about, family members, team members? I want you to really think about this weekend, because if you'll do that and bring back something meaningful that you and your husband, your spouse, wife can talk about, I think this will help you a lot. We've always got to bring back and get clarity about where we're going, because the business of life, it's easy to get distracted and get off course.